Okay, good afternoon. I'm Liz Staubach, Chair of the City of Albany IDA. I'll call the Thursday, March 19th meeting to order. Note that we do have a quorum with just Christopher Betts not in attendance. First item on the agenda, I'll ask for a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and accept as presented.
So moved.
Can I get a second, please?
Okay.
Any comments, revisions, edits? All in favor? Moving on to the report from the Chief Financial Officer.
Thank you, Chair. Request the committee members direct your attention to materials beginning on page 4 and 5 for a summary schedule of the financial performance through month end February 2026. This isn't a full quarter end report, but we'll just give a brief summary overview. Total revenue through February is approximately $125,000, primarily in receipts from development fees related to projects, but it's also important to note that we received almost $22,000 in interest earnings throughout the year so far, which again is a pickup over last year by about $18,000 in the same period. And anyone who's doing the math, that's about 587% more interest we've earned in the same period year over year. So we're very happy about the way our cash management accounts have been structured. Expenditures through February are approximately $196,000, primarily the management contract, $178,000 year to date. Project fee activity, we have a fairly backloaded activity schedule for this year. We have 6 projects scheduled to close in 2026 later this year, totaling approximately $1.6 million. Overall, the agency's cash positions remain stable throughout the first 2 months, despite expenditures exceeding operating fee revenue by a nominal amount during the period. Anticipated pipeline of projects closing later in the year is expected to generate significant agency fee revenue, reinforcing the agency's financial position for the remainder of the fiscal year. Any comments or questions?
Any questions for Andy? Thank you. We're going to move on to unfinished business, and we have 135 Ontario LLC. This was moved with a favorable recommendation from the Finance Committee on Wednesday for a public hearing resolution. Anything else to add or any questions from the board?
Resolution.
Well, hold on one second, sir. May I get a motion on the resolution authorizing the chief executive officer of the City of Albany IDA to hold a public hearing regarding a proposed project to be undertaken for the benefit of 135 Ontario LLC?
No, you had your chance.
May I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, we have, thank you. We have 575 Broadway Holdings LLC. As with the previous resolution, we had a favorable recommendation from the Finance Committee to hold a public hearing on the project. Are there any additional questions or discussion? Then may I get a motion on the resolution authorizing the Chief Executive Officer of the City of IDA to hold a public hearing regarding a proposed project due to be undertaken for the benefit of 575 Broadway Holdings LLC? May I get a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're gonna go to 54 State Property LLC. Andy?
54 State Property LLC. This project was introduced at the previous Finance Committee meeting. Involves the conversion of an existing 180,000 square foot, 10-story commercial office building into approximately 120 market rate apartment units, while maintaining the current ground floor commercial retail uses. I want to run through this summary. As you know, we are looking for a public hearing resolution on this, so I want to go through our summary in detail. Looking at the project summary, the revenue gain to the taxing jurisdictions, as we went over last week. While there isn't a positive net benefit, the other ancillary community benefits associated with this project are taking vacant and underutilized office space off the market in the central business district, and in its place injecting 120 residential units into that property. The property value increased, the current value, which incidentally, we just found out had been challenged. So it was previously assessed at approximately 9.9 million. That challenge went through and a judgment was made for a value of 6.624 million. The anticipated future value, once the project is fully complete and occupied, is 7.2 million, for a net increase of approximately 576,000. This is an estimated $26.5 million project. And we're going to go over the community benefits in detail momentarily. But first, I just wanted to run through the jobs, the projected permanent jobs at 2 and the retained jobs at 6, also projecting construction jobs of 80. We are going to discuss the pilot request in detail momentarily, but running through the community benefits point by point, while also noting that this project is being evaluated outside of the framework. So for target geography, the project receives 1 point for being in downtown, 1 point for being located in the downtown business improvement district, and 1 point for being located within a neighborhood plan, which is 2 neighborhood plans, the Cap Initiative Plan and Impact Downtown Albany. Identified priority, the project receives a point for being a downtown residential project. And for identified growth areas, it receives another point for conversion to residential. Again, for retained jobs, at 6, the project receives 1 point and receives 2 cumulative points for the estimated 80 construction jobs.
Should there be 2 points for the 80? I know we're judging outside of the framework.
We think that may tick up,
Got it.
and we should have that before the public hearing next week. But good catch. The project receives 3 cumulative points for being $26.5 million investment. Any questions thus far?
The expected future value is 7.6. That based on.
7.2.
Sorry.
That is based on the letter received from the assessor's office.
Even with $26.5 million investment.
Correct, and what we're looking at is a twofold, I don't want to say issue, but 2 reasons for that. One, a change in use from commercial office to residential, and also the fact that that existing rate was challenged down. So that was when I was speaking with the assessor, that was kind of the rationale for that.
Do we need to go into executive session?
Staff would request going into an executive session to discuss the specific finances of a corporation.
May I get a motion to go into executive session to discuss specific finances of a corporation?
So move.
May I get a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I'm getting a lead on, yeah.
We're back on live.
Okay, I'm gonna hold for 1 second just because it's
Get everybody back.
get everyone back in before I,
So everybody can hear, so.
yeah.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Everybody's doing great.
Thanks,
Tony.
It must be after the.
So we've not done.
No, not yet. I've got it right here.
Good point. Oh, we're.
We all. are
Yes,
ready?
we are live recording.
Okay, we are out of executive session. I'll note for the record that no action was taken. I just want to also clarify that while we're taking the same resolution action on this project that we had taken for the two previous, the information we presented today, we hadn't heard yet before on this project where we kind of have gone through that process with the previous two applications. So just for the reason is the deviation of the actions. Any additional comments or questions for 54 State? Well, then I ask for a motion on the resolution authorizing the chief executive officer of the city of Albany IDA to hold a public hearing regarding a proposed project to be undertaken for the benefit of 54 State Property LLC.
So moved.
Can I get a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving on to new business, 1211 Western Avenue Associates LLC. Andy?
Sure, the project, at hand today. On the agenda, 1211 Western Ave Associates was approved for, sales tax exemptions, mortgage recording tax exemptions, and real property tax exemptions in 2021. Closed with the agency in 2022. Given some very high level brief background. The project, due to a failure to complete construction of the project for various reasons. There was an event of default in 2025, I believe in August. As part of working through that and doing everything this agency can to allow for construction to continue. Towards the end of 2025, the agency entered into an MOU. Some of the parameters of the MOU included milestones for the filing of building permits. And also for the commencement of construction. At the request of the project beneficiary, the date for the filing and approval of building permits was slid 30 days. And then working forwards from that, construction was on site was to commence on or about February 16th, which has not happened. And therefore, the resolution that has been disseminated and is part of your packet in front of you today is a result of that.
I think we would also add council sent written correspondence to the project sponsor last Friday.
Yep.
Including a 5 days notice period related to the default on the MOU.
Default under the MOU, correct.
So obviously, we do have members of the development team here with us today. If they'd like to say anything, they certainly have the floor at this point in time.
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kian Hamill. I'm the Vice President of DMG. I'm here today with our CEO, Jackie Key, and members of the project team, including our council, Rob Goff, and our contractor, SONY. We're here today just to reassure everyone that the project is not dormant. We did receive the default notice dated March 13th. And we felt it was important to be here today to convey that construction activities are progressing as planned. We had a meeting with the IDA's construction consultant yesterday, Loki Brill, where we explained the various activities that have been taking place and the behind the scenes coordination for long-term construction or long lead time construction materials that have been procured and are in the process of being delivered to a site. And again, just wanted to emphasize that there are significant activities taking place day in, day out. We have SNY here today, you can also vouch to that. And again, just want to reassure everyone that this is an active construction project that is progressing per plan. The reality is that given the weather, there will not be a lot of bodies on site until that weather turns. The first major construction item that you will see is the removal of various facade components, as we've discussed in previous meetings. That activity cannot happen in the freezing weather, so that is projected to occur in April. And, you know, while there's not a ton of bodies on site, there are ongoing meetings and walkthroughs taking place. And there, you know, we're there very frequently. And so again, just to repeat myself, emphasize that construction activities are taking place and we intend to go full steam ahead on this project.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, what facade work can't be done in the weather?
I'm gonna pass this over to Brad and John from SLY.
And the facade that you've taken down, we gotta remove the windows, we have to remove the dense glass, we have to remove the 2x6s. And with the snow and everything that we've had, it did stop us from being able to see some network. We are, like Cian said, in the background, buying out this project. We're working diligently for months now, taking care of certain items to get it to this point. The project is at the point where it's ready to move forward. We did have the whole over the building.
Do you have anything from the consultant to say that construction activities are going on?
What we have from the consultant and from what we've seen submitted, I think historically we would consider pre-construction activities. We've had the consultant on site. We've had various drive-bys of that site at a minimum of weekly, and there does not appear to be significant activity on site whatsoever.
And so the MOU says the commencement of construction had to occur by that date, and it has to be to the satisfaction of the IDA. So very clear that commencement of construction could happen, not necessarily pre-construction or legalization.
My name is Jackie, this project, so I'm responsible for it. We've been working on that for a couple of years. The reason we stopped on the project is the project model. Okay, but the project together was not easy. From the last August, we come here with an LOI from our investor, and now, if not the default letter, last Monday, which is March 16th, we just have a construction already closed, which is majority of our capital resource. And we right now, Robert can, as our attorney can represent, we have a ready to sign loan agreement, can bring $22 million to the deal to finish the project. And we spend past the 6 months, go through all tons of due diligence and also the pre-construction work with SLY, all the work we've done. Maybe can share a letter that we list all the items we do. Restart or stop the project is not easy. It's harder than start a new construction because we need to do all the tests, all the due diligence items for our investor to the lender. Finally, we had the finish line to have over capital, and we have a solid schedule to get the project done by next June, which we already showed to the consultant from IDA. I just want at this moment, not kill the project at the very last minute, because to us we've really done a lot of work, and to us this project will not make money at all. I just want to get that done. Not that unfinished project sits there for a couple of years later.
I would just add to that also that I have a letter with me today that I can provide to the IDA after this meeting. It's from our lender confirming that the loan closing is scheduled to take place this coming Tuesday. As Jackie said, that loan would have closed this week had we not received the default notice on the 13th. As part of the construction activities that have taken place within that 60-day window, there were significant reporting that needed to be provided to the lender. So standard reports such as an environmental phase 1, a mold assessment report, and things of that nature. So they're just some of the examples of the activities that have taken place. We've also had considerable procurement discussions with subcontractors. We have lined up all of the materials such as the elevator equipment, which is now on site. Long lead time electrical equipment has been delivered. So we are ready to go as soon as we can get through this loan closing on Tuesday, assuming that we do not lose the tax abatements. And once the temperatures rise above 50 degrees, you will see considerable activity on site.
Yeah, so since it was mentioned, the schedule that was just most recently provided still does look to include not any more, not any substantive activity to happen on site for at least the next 30 days.
That's
Is that correct?
Yes.
So, don't expect to see anything.
That's not to say people will be
Visible.
on site. People will be on site, but you will not see any visible construction on the exterior of the building. For the next 30 days, but people will be on site doing walkthroughs and having coordination meetings.
And that schedule was not received until just this week. That has been a schedule that the construction monitor has been trying to get from this team since the execution of the MOU so that they could further develop the milestones that would be required for the rest of the MOU. So we just got that.
Any other questions from the board,
Um,
the representatives?
so when was the date the financing was supposed to be secured?
Originally,
According to
I mean,
what they,
like the most recent.
That's Monday.
Supposed to be-
Monday. I signed papers on Monday.
it was on Monday, according to what,
But there wasn't an earlier date that we've been told.
the earlier date was that construction would commence on the 17th, the day following the due date,
Right.
and that didn't happen.
Right.
So, that wasn't anything about
Correct.
closing document, yeah.
Okay, may I get a motion to go into executive session for advice of counsel,
Covered by attorney-client.
covered by attorney-client privilege?
So moved.
May I get a second? please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. What page is it? 68. Okay, we are out of executive session. I'll note that no action was taken regarding the item before us. Despite being in default under the documents granted multiple extensions, construction on the project has remained stalled. In 2025, the board entered into an MOU with the developer intending to hold the development team accountable to the IDA board. We approved a monitoring process and timeline as the continued activity on the site is unacceptable. To date, the construction monitor, the board and staff have not observed satisfactory construction activity at the site. Based on the status of the overall state of the project, with no meaningful progress, the board does not have confidence that the project can be completed in the manner and the scope represented in the original application. Since the agreed upon conditions were not met and the event of default has persisted, the board is advancing a resolution today authorizing the termination of the project's pilot agreement. With that action, the property will be returned to the tax rolls. Additionally, the board may also pursue recapture of previously authorized tax exemptions associated with the project, including over $600,000 in New York State sales tax exemptions and $320,000 in mortgage recording tax exemptions. We'll note within its capacity, the IDA will continue to support the reactivation and reuse of this site moving forward. With that, I ask for a motion on the resolution authorizing the City of Albany IDA to execute certain documents in connection with the reconveyance of 1211 Western Avenue Property Associates LLC project.
So moved.
May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to annual reporting.
Thank you, Chair. I have some summary comments and then I would defer to our audit chair for any follow. The audit committee completed its review of the agency's 2025 fiscal year results and associated New York State CARES filings, including the audited financial statements, annual report, procurement report, and investment report. So review was conducted in detail at the audit committee meeting held on March 12th, at which time management and the independent auditors presented the results and responded to questions. Based on this review, management is satisfied that the audited financial statements fairly present the financial position and results of the operations of the agency in all material respects. The committee was also advised that the audit process was completed in accordance with applicable standards with no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies reported. Additionally, the required parish filings were found to be complete, accurate, and consistent with the audited financial information. The procurement and investment reports are reviewed for compliance with established policies and applicable New York State requirements. No issues of concern were identified. The reports reflect adherence to the agency's governance and oversight standards. Following its review, the audit committee voted to recommend the board of directors accept the 2025 fiscal year audit results and approve the submission of all required New York State parish reports. Accordingly, the board is asked to review and formally accept the audited financial statements and related reports and to authorize the filing of the appropriate state authorities. So I defer to you for any follow-up commentary.
Sorry. The recommendation of the audit committee, and we felt that was the appropriate that these were all the things that we felt should be recommended. So the audit committee recommends all six of the covering their audit and all the other issues.
Okay. Any comments or questions, additional questions?
Just noting on the draft 2025 annual report, staff is still working through some minor updates and pulling in some of the corresponding paperwork and documents outside of the jobs reporting, which is the big piece. So that will continue to be refined right up until the date of submission closer to the end of the month.
Okay. We're gonna take each of these individually and probably fly through all these motions, but before we do that, just want to say thank you, because I know that the amount of time we're gonna take to approve all of these is nothing compared to the amount of work it takes you guys to get all of this done and make sure we're in compliance. So thank you very much for all your hard work on this. May I get a motion to review and accept draft 2025 financial statements and audit results?
So moved.
May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I get a motion to review and accept draft 2025 annual report?
So moved.
May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I get a motion to review and accept the draft 2025 procurement report?
So moved.
May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I get a motion to review and accept draft 2025 investment report?
So moved.
May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I get a motion to review and accept draft 2025 mission statement and performance measures?
So moved.
May, all in favor?
Aye.
And may I get a motion to review and accept management assessment of the effectiveness of internal controls?
So.
May I get a,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Do we have an agency update or? Not for this meeting. I mean, what else is there really to discuss? Very young, but is,
Hold our power test.
that's what we usually get during the update, we usually, a compliance update.
I'll only note that there's a memo at the very last page of your packet outlining requirements for ABO board training. This was provided at the audit committee meeting last week as well, so everyone's training status is on there. I would encourage you to review, and if you haven't completed a training in the last 3 years, to sign up for one soon.
Okay, thank you.
Darius.
Darius. Didn't want to call you out by name.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Yes, I'm sure that there are words, but thank you. This meeting. May I get a motion to adjourn? May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.